Hello, everybody. It's time, finally, for the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve.
Your microphone's crackling.
Sometimes, listen, sometimes we don't
Got
get
him.
to something for a second. Well, they can't hear it, so I'm gonna keep talking while I fix it. But yeah, we're, so at the end of the last game, 2 real-life years ago, Susato had to go home, and we found out that there was a secret government communication from the British Empire government to the Japanese government that have 4 names in it. It was
The Japanese Empire government.
the Japanese Empire government, yeah. No, hold on, that's the recording button. What button? This is the button I want. There we go. I hope that didn't stop the recording. Oh, nope. That button is only programmed to start the recording. It isn't programmed to stop it. Excellent. Whatever the opposite of played myself is.
And now you're gonna have an infinite recurring number of recordings saved to your device.
But yeah, it was Kazuma Asugi, who is dead. Tobias Gregson.
Went out like a bitch, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Didn't we find out he just actually just fell over?
Yeah,
They just like fucking
he fell and
slipped
hit
on a
his
banana
head.
peel?
He fell and hit his head bad, I believe.
Shithead. I know that kills people in real life, and to those people, I have no apologies. You went out like a bitch. Go out like a cool person, getting hit by a car.
You're not gonna isekai yourself cracking your neck on a bedpost. Probably. Bonsai.
Dude, if I got isekai'd, I would immediately establish capitalism.
Standing
If
here
it already
in the bright
exists,
sunshine,
I
looking
would
out
perfect
over the
it.
vast ocean. Those days in London.
Oh, that's right. They're all
seem
British
like
for
a
some
dream.
reason.
But I do miss my time in England's vast capital.
It's like a British-Japanese accent. It's really weird.
You know,
Yeah, it's like they slipped
he's
it in there a
flourished
little
into
bit.
a truly wonderful lawyer.
It's like 90% British, and then they're like,
I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
They did learn English in Britain. That's true.
Forgive me
but they're like very
for taking
British.
so long to come to visit you.
I-
My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned.
I can't read that, so I don't know
and
whose
no
grave
one
that
could have
is.
predicted
I could
what
be
has
anyone.
happened.
Let's see if I can.
My
Google
guess
it.
is Kazuma, but it could be her dad, I
After
guess.
arriving home,
I find myself faced with another awful crime. This again?
My Google Lens was too slow.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait,
so
it's
I
back.
came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing.
She's
in
also a
court.
little Scottish.
Yeah,
The
a
only
little
time
bit.
in my life
Tomato?
as a
Tamara.
lawyer.
Oh, she's a lawyer, too.
Tamara.
Now, I guess. Didn't we get this lady last game? If this is the fucking... Oh, she's dead.
So please,
Got him.
I ask for your guidance.
So are we playing as Susato for the first case?
Yeah, our Google Lens can't read that squiggly ass shit.
Ah, rip. It's too stylized.
Last time
Episode
we
1, The
played
Adventure of the
this.
Blossoming Attorney.
To be fair,
This is a
Mulligan,
cool
if we had
graphic.
played this like 4 days ago, Mexico also wouldn't have a woman president.
That's true.
That's how time works.
13th August.
You've essentially just made a new version of a I haven't streamed this since last year joke.
He does do that every year.
Every year, like clockwork.
Like
You
clockwork.
could set a watch by it.
13th
Like the
August,
tides of the ocean.
8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 3. I guess this is you.
Was I Susato?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were Susato.
Excellent. How I obviously wasn't British enough now, though. Now that we know, she's adopted an immediate British accent. Because the reason I know that's horseshit, right, is because in the show, even the TV show Swap Shop, which of course everyone has watched,
Right.
there's that lady who was Japanese, but she learned like Southern
Cowboy
American
English.
English, and she does have an accent, but she's also still very clearly like it's a weird fusion of the two. It's not like 90% Southern accent, you know?
Yeah.
That's that's the part that doesn't make
It's
the
a
most
little
sense
weird.
here. So I guess I'll just do my British accent.
Oh no.
But she's not Cockney, which is the best one to do. Because then you could just speak like Michael Caine. Hold on, give me one second. I have to scold my dog. Alright, we're good.
Dog scolded, dog scolded.
Well, she's being a butthead. I don't know. I fed her like 3 times today, and I apparently didn't do it at the right times, because now she's like, oh yeah, but I need to get fed again. I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
That's not how this works.
Those were just bonus food times. Those aren't the actual food.
I forgot we have to read stuff in this game. I sure we got water.
Yeah.
But now I'll starve. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan.
It's a weird word. I've never seen
I
that
don't
word
like
in my
it.
life besides these games.
I feel so nervous, but I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Oh, hey, it's her dad. I believe you were doing
I believe it was like,
Omni-Man.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just a
You were
fucking
just
J.
doing
Jonah
Richard
Jameson
Simmons.
ass. That's his name. Richard Simmons.
Is it? No.
Ah,
it's
good, you're here.
something-
Doesn't do
it's
for a
something
lawyer to be
Simmons.
late.
J.K. Simmons?
J.K.
No.
Simmons, that's the one. Richard Simmons was like a workout instructor, I think.
Yeah. It's like,
Doesn't do for a lawyer to be late.
sorry, I tapped out so I could look up Richard Simmons. Yes, he was the guy. Okay, good. I didn't invent an entire name. I just picked the wrong one.
Wrong Simmons.
Oh, yes, good morning, sir.
I hardly recognize you. You cut a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those wide
Weird
eyes
thing to
aren't.
say to my daughter.
And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either.
Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost, whoa!
Whoa, he's
My
bugging,
God,
dude.
that-
Whoa.
That really, well, that was a hell of a progression. I'm very nervous. I wish I had never been born.
Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Think, Susato, think.
Miko Toba. It's hard to do that while trying to be British.
Yeah.
Eugene Mika Toba, professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. A man who earlier in his life traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father.
Excuse me, I don't know who this is. I was wondering
It's
how
you.
they were going to get...
I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, this is a new character, okay. I was wondering how they were gonna get us to be up against Auchi in the first case, because they always put you against, like, a pain guy in the first
It's
case.
always gotta be a pain guy, yeah.
And I was like, how are they gonna do that now that Naruhodo's in London? Is there just a similar-looking guy there, also? Would I be correct?
That would have been funnier, frankly.
It would have been really good.
An unrelated man who's just a British man that looks exactly like the rest of the Pains.
It's incredible, really. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today?
No. Life finds a way. That's right, miss.
Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing.
He really went into like a karate pose for a second there. I thought we were in danger.
Remember
flip
me.
someone.
Fuck you. I hate
Remember
Ace
me.
Attorney.
Do you remember me?
Fuck.
Hey, my mom, baby. Number 5. Born the same year as I, and my greatest. Really? Then why have you never brought her up before?
Before now.
Your greatest friend?
Yep. This
My
one, the whole
greatest
time.
friend I never talk or think about. Though, though, okay, I get that this is a sentence you can say, but it is weird to say in our time.
Yeah.
Like,
unusual in our
as though
time.
you
Not
know
so
the
strange
future.
in the future, where you, the reader, are from.
I mean, like, being like, it's just, in our time, we've got these limited, non-mechanical forms. Very strange. It's like I know something.
Right?
Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory, helping my father.
Excellent choice.
And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Thanks, Susato. What will you have in 1,000 years? Are you feeling all right? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed.
Oh my. Well, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing.
Sorry.
And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Lesbian.
So,
Spotted.
You're gay, or... I don't think she knows. Huh. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am.
It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, is she disguised as Naruto?
Yeah, she's definitely disguised as a man. Because she's a woman. She can't.
Oh, she can't be in
lawyer.
court. Yeah, there was a whole thing about that in the last game.
Why
They barely
didn't
let her
just
be an
have
assistant.
Toba do it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Because he's a
not
doctor and not a lawyer.
Yeah, but like he's a doctor in the 1800s. Couldn't you just walk in and say, "I'm a doctor. I can tell who's guilty from blood"? I feel like that would work if they really tried.
Very possible.
So we have to retract gay. It's unconfirmed.
Damn it.
Unfortunate.
Oh, that's me. Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax. Disguise?
Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it could be.
She received a letter telling her dad was I couldn't remember why she had to go back to Japan. I just knew she did.
That does sound right. I'm not gonna check, but Mulligan would never lie to me.
He would never lie to me.
But this does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father.
Father? What? Is that you, Susato?
That little chicken.
No, what are
I'm
you
so
doing?
sorry I didn't-
What's
Whoa,
going
shit.
on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge.
I
Look
get
at
it.
you. You
I'm
look for all the
wearing
world just like
varsity
a
clothes.
student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student.
I'm so glad you think so. It seems all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning
Jesus
to make a
Christ.
start. It took you... You woke up at 4 to dress up like a guy? We don't try. What do you mean?
What do you mean? But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that?
Well, you see...
It was the only
in our
way.
times!
The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense?
Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women in our times. We're
In
not
our
even
times.
allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that they are obviously grilled, the laws of this land apply to all people, male and female, and others alike.
I was gonna say, not me. I can do whatever crimes I want in 1800s Japan, apparently. But
Listen,
women are
Steven, you go to
forbidden.
1800s Japan, I think they're just gonna shoot you.
Probably.
If I had to guess. They'd be like, oh no! We're still under our isolationist rules. Get him!
How did you get here, white man?
Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door. So that I can act as your lawyer.
Oh, Susato, you'd go to such lengths for me?
Of course, you're my greatest friend, apparently. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve.
Oh no, I have complete faith in you. I mean, she can't possibly do worse than Ryunosuke at his first trial, so, you know. She's got that going for her. She's much more competent than he is.
True. Ray. Remember me.
It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yeah, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing.
Is this the first time that Ray is learning about this law? Did she not
know about it before now?
A Japanese citizen? Did she wake up from a deep sleep? It never came up. She's never thought about it. Ray, please don't look at me like that, with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. All right, Lesbian is back on the table.
I'm sorry, it's just...
It's wobbling
really
on
do
the
look
edge.
so
We're
dashing.
not sure yet. Yeah, yes, you mentioned that once or twice.
Wahahaha! You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man.
Say Gex. Also, how's the voice volume? I think I fucked with my mic settings recently.
I turned you up a little bit on Discord, and everything seems fine now.
Okay. I can also turn my knob and just way blow out the volume.
Oh, fuck.
Hold on. I think I fucked it up then.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Okay, this is probably where it was.
Probably.
I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today.
I thought that was the end of the sentence. I was looking away for something else for a second.
Ray. I imagine you to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped, and how you're trembling ever so slightly.
Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder.
Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean.
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer.
That means so much to me, Susato. Defendant, counsel! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. I'm so used to those guys being statues. It was weird that they moved. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Kinda fucked up. Oh. Stand aside!
I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast.
Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom and with no prior experience of being a lawyer.
There was simply no other way. That's all there was to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this?
Neither do I. Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. Oh.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
I don't know why else we would do this.
Yeah. Well, Susato, you're an odd fellow. I must say you steam a good ham.
Despite the fact.
I didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was?
We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student.
Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Miko Toba, a judicial assistant.
Bit late to be introducing yourself.
8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain.
He died.
But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. It cuts to him stepping into like a pothole and falling.
Ah!
A
13
carriage
August.
splashes mud water on him.
9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. It's a bad name. Bad word.
Ah, yes, that's right. I forgot.
I think this guy is just the regular judge voice because he's the Japanese judge.
Yeah, I think so. But he only shows up for like 5 minutes, so I don't remember. This court is now scheduled to hear the trial of Ray Member me.
The prosecution is fairly ready to prosecute, Your Excellency.
What kind of shit pun is this? Wow, she really just put on a hat and coat, huh?
It's incredible.
They acted like this was some sort of grand disguise that not even her best friend could look through. And it's 2 articles of clothing?
Lined
Incredible.
in purple.
This is some Clark Kent Superman shit. Defense counsel, are you ready?
Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready. Oh no, she's doing it too.
Ready? Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? She just put the hair
Ryutaro?
under the hat, Molo guy. I'm trying to figure out how to do a fake, deeper voice while. Hold on, give me a second. Sorry. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. So I'm afraid I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind.
Well, counsel. Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I am Ryutaro. He who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how to better hold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo? A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be... You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. That is, I love that they changed the fucking text box, too. That's right, Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers.
Any of them.
Tut, tut, tut. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused had to call in a country boy. How dare you? Susato is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys. I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh,
Please be careful, Ray. They'll probably kill me if you find out.
What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not.
I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. I can feel myself getting stupider. Like it or not, eyes are wont to flit. I like the dramatic zoom in on the phrase, eyes are wont to flit. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests.
It's very great, I promise.
It's great, a big important. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like the trial 9 months ago.
Every
Yep.
9 months, someone from not Japan dies, and it causes a crisis.
And yet, for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense. They do go to Stupider. They do go to Wait
a minute.
They go to Jupiter. They do go to Jupiter, Mulligan. To determine whether you are to practice in this courtroom.
9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. The same judge tested him as well.
It's just my thing. I like doing it.
And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with... I forgot he wasn't even a law student. He passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy.
So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
No! Ah, she took off the coat.
What left the coat on? It made you look more mysterious.
We should always wear...
Alright.
I wish cloaks would come back.
Just start wearing cloaks, pussy.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Alright, it's time to prove myself. The face smack, of course. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make them simple. Very well. To start with...
What is your name?
What is your favorite color? You will state the name of the victim.
I hope that's in the court record. I don't remember.
Phew, that is simple. I couldn't forget it if I tried. Yep, there it is. They did this bit in the first game, too.
Ah. What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through.
Incompetency.
Like it or not, minds are wont to blank.
It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter under the circumstances.
African or European, Mulligan?
African or European.
Oh dear, this is a dismal failure.
Don't fret, you need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Of course, the court record.
No, that's not me.
Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record.
That's right, just use right bumper to open the court record. Then you need to
What?
flip to the people section with right bumper. And don't take too long over it, His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright, check the court record with that's where the information I need will be. I'm waiting, counsel.
Alright. I'm just gonna read this while we're here. Victim is oh, it's in here too.
Giselle Brett.
That's right. I couldn't remember her name. But she was the hat lady in the last game.
Yeah.
She did the crime, I believe, in the last game, but I think she was like a British citizen.
Oh no, they spelled hemorrhage the terrible way.
Oh god, hemorrhage. Single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Noakes, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim in both eyes. Poison, probably, or something.
I also know from Christopher Lee what noise she would have made when stabbed like that.
A bad one. Ray Membami, 16. Eugene Mikotoba, 43. Giselle Brett. She was an exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of visiting professor Dr. John Watson. And Auchi. Oh, Auchi.
Oh yeah, she did have a swan hat. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's what
the actual bird was a hat. Yeah.
I don't know. Ah! I can't believe they did Tim like that.
Rip Tim.
What is the name of the victim in this case?
Well, that's Giselle Brett.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes! You've been doing this fucking shit. The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett.
Giselle Brett. A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure.
Strange thing to say. Correct! And being a member of our empire's judiciary, you will be aware, well aware, of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name indelibly associated with our own empire's judicial history?
Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving too hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember. I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of
Queen Victoria!
My God!
A murderer!
It was her!
A killer most foul!
Of foul, really.
Haha! Good joke.
Thanks. That was your smart joke for the evening. That's what counts. 9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yumei University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett.
Yes, she was a killer.
Queen. Something.
Gunpowder gelatine. Dynamite
It's
with a
gelatine?
laser beam. Yeah, I don't know why he says gelatine. I don't know why he says gelatin that way. To rhyme, I assume.
I think this is still you?
Yes. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikoto. Wait, this is the judge?
That was all me. You're welcome.
Yes.
9 months ago, a guy died. He was your friend.
Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly.
That British Empire sure sounds powerful. I'm sure it won't become a dying empire in the next 100 years.
Surely not.
Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. And some fucking clown guy got to be in it for some reason. A student of the Imperial Yumei University was arrested on a suspicion of murder. A second-year English language
He was an English student?
He was an English student. That's how he learned it so fast when he came to Britain.
Fair enough. That's a good point, I suppose.
By the name of Rian. So then he makes even less sense to have a British accent. Unless they may have carted in a British guy to teach that. So, maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Who can say?
By the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, and with a famously weak neck, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead.
What? Why Shanghai?
There's a British consular court there.
Correct! I oversaw the negotiations personally. Still from this chair, believe it or not.
I don't leave. I glued my robes down. Somebody played a prank on me a while ago and I've never recovered.
I'm unwilling to admit that I can't get up. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week.
Damn, she could have been murdered 9 months ago.
At this point, the U.S. wasn't the only global hegemonic power, so most English learning resources were probably from Britain. Yeah, I assume. I still think it's a lazy explanation.
Well, I think the actual explanation is probably something like they're from the 1800s. Everybody sounds a little bit British, probably.
Not in America, where we sounded American. USA. 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 Or transatlantic. It depends if you were an actor or not.
It depends if you were in TV.
I don't think TV was a thing in the 1800s.
Yeah, I guess you're right. In radio.
Radio? In radio! Speaking of radios, quick side tangent. I just learned that, so you know how, like, Superman was, like, a radio show for a long time that was super successful? Apparently, there was some guy whose name I don't remember, but he was, like, an investigative type dude who, like, learned a bunch about the KKK and was like, man, these guys are crazy. The people need to know. So he ended up, but like there's like corruption in the police. Like they police,
Right.
there are police members that were members of the KKK, believe it or not. And so this guy went to like the team that did the Superman radio show, and they made a series of radio shows where Superman like fights against the KKK and like exposes them and stuff. And it did irreparable harm to the KKK that
That's
they got
incredible.
clowned on by Superman in the radio show. And that's hilarious. That's funny every day to me.
That's incredible.
Imagine being so cringe that a fictional guy, even one as cool as Superman, does harm to your organization. All that remained of our Empire's obligations was to see the woman safely aboard a steamship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed.
You have to wait like 50 more years a game for that. It's okay, I will. For the rise of my beloved United States.
Woo.
Oh, say, can you see? Oh, only the day before. I don't know why that's the voice I've decided to go with for this,
Yeah, I
but
don't
that's
know.
what we're getting. That's it. That's all I got. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. I've checked that they can understand basic factoids, and that means they're good to go.
Works for me.
Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Auchi. I forgot he
As
did
is
that
your
little
wish,
pose.
your excellency.
I forgot he hit us with the Y pose quickly.
The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight.
At least it wasn't a
Birds.
pungent crime.
On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. Crab. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal. I need a drink. Holy fuck, this voice hurts so bad.
I know, right? This is why I was complaining about not bringing water for myself.
Oh, fuck.
Is it? Oh, wait! I have a single mouthful of water in this bottle. Oh yes, now we're cooking.
There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused Ray Memberme. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady. Had a hair bun last game, got cut off at the end of the trial. I do remember that. I was like, his hair does look weird in this one. I forgot.
Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words.
End of sentence. A lot of words in that
raised me.
sentence.
Damn, Shouty. You said a lot there.
Bro is
That raised
cooking
an awful lot
nothing.
of questions. Imagine we got a Ace Attorney where, like, there was a new young hip lawyer and he just said all the
Zoomer.
Gen Z slang. As a
Probably
lawyer, I
the
really ought to
motive.
pick the prosecution. You're clearly wait.
You're clear.
Nope, I'm giving up. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Tut tut tut. Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon.
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Remember me, son.
Citation needed. I've at least heard that idea presented before. I could not tell you if it was presented truthfully or not, but it is an idea I've heard.
Right, yeah. You are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Now another question. I don't know why this is just a Joker voice. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Riddle me this, Batman.
Oh, well, I was studying
John
under
Watson?
Dr. John H. Wilson.
Oh right, his name is Wilson. Because
It's
You know.
because the
Yeah.
fucking
that's the
estate.
the
They're real
estate.
dicks about this kind of stuff for some reason.
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago?
Yeah, we know. The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? I was doing a higher thing, but I think I'm gonna go with this because it hurts less. Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred.
Okay, no need to add adjectives, Ray. Oh no, Ray. Be careful of what you're saying.
Ah. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along.
How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor like that, like against her like that. I must find out more details. And something we can, okay.
Sorry.
As a lawyer, I really ought to, you keep doing it, what's happening? As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about...
I don't know, being alone together. It's a weird way to phrase what she's saying. I don't know, the bathing spot or being alone together.
Well, the bathing spot is interesting because why was she at a bathing spot if she was getting transferred to China?
To China to be tried for crimes,
for murder.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah. If I may, Prosecutor Auchi.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
Ha! My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the core of country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. That's right, all of you out there who say intensive purposes.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. Why would a known criminal, have been relaxing by the sea?
For old time's sake, I believe. Excuse me?
Sorry?
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast.
And we just let that happen for some reason.
And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply.
I mean, she's definitely some sort of British spy or something.
Yeah, must be.
Like, clearly. But it is really funny to imagine the British being like, no, we think you should let her do it. That's what we think.
I bumped a trigger.
But...
Apparently triggers also open the court record.
But on what grounds would we agree to such a request?
Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
Well, hold on. Who's this guy? But in fact, a murder took place.
Is it gonna be Hosonaga, the guy from the last game? I said don't look at me! It was that young student girl who did it, not I!
No one has proved that yet.
I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
I would. He's a bitch. At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution on what he said about... Yeah, I still don't like that sentence. I still don't like the way that's formed. It's a strange sentence to me. Mabami-san.
Yes, what is it? Naruto-san.
Wait! My god. for 5 minutes. We shouldn't have told her, is the real answer. Dad, look at Susato's face. She's like, God, my friend's gonna die. She's gonna get in the fucking chair. Wait, they wouldn't have had... Wait, no, they may have had... The noose, whatever.
Something.
I'm really starting to wish we'd made my alias Rutaro Susato. Yeah, there's no reason they couldn't have done that.
I know.
Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her.
Oh, well, no, that's not true. I wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her
Disappears.
death, you were... Now let me be clear.
Now, let me be clear.
At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut, you and no one else. The truth is, there was only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. No, because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. This is close to my Sherlock Sholmes voice, but luckily I won't have to do this one anymore after this case.
Never again. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel.
I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now.
Do we? Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Fucked up. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murderer of the mentor for whom she had such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. Words are hard. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
You know, you know what the word Shanghai reminds me of?
Theft?
That random 2000s. What? Oh, because like you Shanghai.
Yeah,
I
Shanghai
see.
someone, yeah.
No, I of course was talking about Shanghai Nights. You remember
Huh?
Shanghai Nights?
No.
The 2003, I want to say
What?
Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan?
Hold on. What button did I just hit?
You keep
Okay.
doing this, man.
I don't know how I did that. Like, I was in a different... I was scrolling. Does using the scroll wheel in a different window activate the fucking text? Whack. Absolutely whack. Anyway, you were saying about
Shanghai Nights was a 2003 movie that takes place in Shanghai, I believe. Oh, right. It was a sequel to Shanghai Noon. I forgot. I forgot about Shanghai Noon. Hilarious. No one talks about Shanghai Noon or Shanghai Nights anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about, so correct, I suppose. So you...
It was a movie from 2003
Yep.
that was in the 1800s, and Owen Wilson was there.
Wow.
Wow.
So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
They also announced a third movie in like 2015, and so far nothing has been said about
It
it.
looks like the goose is also dead, which is fucked up.
They killed the goose first, so it wouldn't have to suffer. A photographic print? Fancy.
I mean,
Yes.
So, the only thing that stands out to me immediately is they said something about her eyes being fucked up, and there's a bottle on the ground. But other than that, I don't see anything necessarily suspicious about this image. Oh, there's a spilled
Not
wine
with the
glass,
info
too.
we have. Yeah, she spilled it. Thank you, Counsel. Wait.
Thank you, Counsel. A tragic image.
As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden.
The court will accept this photographic print as evidence.
The photograph of the crime scene has been entered in the court record.
As I understand it, then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. It's always the much more to their case that fucks over the prosecution in these games. We intend to prove the accused appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
Witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt.
Very well then, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses.
I, Takatsuchi Auchi, have been waiting for this moment.
Sorry?
Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago here in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me.
I was gonna say that little shit.
Ah! Ryunosuke Naruhodo! What? Yes? This insult to the Auchi family name will never be forgotten!
You've become conceited with age, counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. I'm going to kill you. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Fucking Kazuma cut his fucking top knot off.
Yeah, I remember this.
Ah!
He did it from like 12 feet away somehow.
This is impressive. Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, counsel?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the Auchi growth!
I wouldn't call it that.
You see this seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown?
I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something.
I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly? I said silence! Today I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you, and my victory will be the fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand. Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to raised life.
I hope just all of his hair falls out spontaneously at the end of this trouble. It is Hosonaga!
Yeah!
He's wearing a turtle on his head. Witnesses, please state your names.
And
also the author guy.
The author guy who wrote the cat poem or whatever.
Yeah. Please state your names and occupations for the court. I don't remember his voice. He's gonna get a butler voice now. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. Genius, I would have never known. I think I gave him the same voice I'm currently using for Auchi.
Do you want me to take it just so you don't have to do both of these clowns?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Alright. What sounds awfery?
I'm the next big thing in books.
That's an incredible sentence.
Incredible, holy shit. Oh,
What's the funniest voice I could think of to say I'm the next big thing in books?
Yeah, he
He's so nervous right
all the time. Ooh, boy.
Nervous.
That one really got me. Alright, 1 second.
I mean, I wanna do a bad Snagglepuss thing. What's the chances Windabank comes back to life? Pretty low, right?
I mean, he was murdered.
Excellent. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital, in fact. Yes.
Ah!
Soon to be sold out. The satirical I Am a Cat. A sensational success. Why, so scare not square.
Hopefully
Oh
neither
my
of these people
goodness.
recognize her.
I like how he's got a fucking reporter.
I know, right? Like a
following
private
him now.
one.
Struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be in awe of me. I needn't? It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please, relax, chill even. Call me so scary. Oh, he says the even! Call me so scary even. That's a thing that I don't know if you're a
Even.
big
No, I know
Snagglepuss fan,
Snagglepuss.
but he says that all the time.
Even.
Even. Exit stage left even. He also says heavens to Murgatroyd. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
These are things that I know about Snagglepuss. Don't ask me any further
Heavens.
details. Those are all the ones I know.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. I read this. I just did it in my normal voice. So.
I see.
What on earth is Sosuke-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes
Yeah,
you
but,
for
like,
who you really are, this will be over before
have you
it's
seen
begun.
Yes, I know. Of course. I presume Sosuke-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so it's been since I last saw him. Waghai wa Neko Diaru, I Am a Cat, was published sometime between 1905 and 1906, so it gives us an idea of when this is supposed to take place. Thanks, Mulligan.
Finally, we have a
I'm gonna
day.
I'm gonna find and post the nerd emoji.
Oh, hold on, no, I've got one.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant.
I'm sorry, Mulligan. You didn't deserve that, but also very funny. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe.
Do I have something on my face?
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. What? It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Sure.
Wow. I thank you, Mulligan.
God.
That's also good.
Scrolling, sorry. I'm trying
You gotta stop scrolling! Then, if it keeps doing it, right?
Yep, no, you're right.
Right?
You're right.
Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present.
I refuse to be called a nerd by an MTG player. Shows how little you know, Molo guy. MTG is hot shit right now. That's why we got the Fortnite crossover and the Hatsune Miku crossover. And a third cool thing, probably. We've got it all, baby.
But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the seat, Sosuke-san? Soseki-san? Soseki.
Something like that.
Well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less. at Yume University. After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact.
With my... Nope. That's not me, but
With-
also...
With Professor Miko Toba.
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about two former students who'd studied in Great Britain.
And you know who else is an MTG player, Mulligan? Post Malone, popular music guy. So, and you wouldn't call him a nerd, probably, because he has lots of money. And would a nerd make lots of money? No. Don't give me sources. I don't want to know about any rich nerds.
Never heard of it. It never happened.
My arguments are flawless unless you look at them. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snap shots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. He practically threw that paper at me.
The Sasaki Natsume article has been entered into the court record. I am actually going to have a peek at that really quick. Once he's finished with this sentence.
Anyway, following my interview with the professor...
Let's see here. The debate became quite spirited. Okay. Fucking...
Okay.
Whoa. Damn, he going.
Have at ye!
Chuh! Right in the throat.
Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna use my Google Lens to see if there's any additional insights.
Ooh.
London Inform. London Expo coming soon. International Expo of Science and Art. London World Expo. Too many people. It was rough. Beat the competition. Athletes participated. Big bicycle competition.
Yeah, I was guessing this was something bicycle related.
Rotating car. That can't be right. That one doesn't translate into anything that makes sense to me. This would be easier if our languages were written the same direction.
Yeah.
Is a professor. Something doctor to be. What does that lower right area say? Oh. Oh. Scientific and... Let's go to the house! Government supported. Would be possible. Krista is a wow in the Crystal Tower.
Seemed to be mostly
Anyways.
the same kind of stuff that was in the newspapers in the last game.
Thanks, Google Lens. Buy Google Lens today. I don't... It's not actually. I don't
It's
think you
not that
can...
good.
It's not really a... The lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words.
As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective, I am at liberty to divulge, was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
So the real question is, do you think it's a real turtle or a fake turtle?
Who can say? Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It is extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment,
blood.
so
That's right.
I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly.
Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now. Blood.
Nuh-uh.
Coughs of blood.
How unsightly. I
We
do
never figured out
apologize.
why this guy coughs blood, right?
Nope. Does that mean you
Does
went
that
to
mean you?
Yep, it's not me.
Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father?
No, fortunately I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place.
Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But if only I had, I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. I get that guy has ink smudges on his hand.
It's very good.
Pretty good. I wonder if he will be important. They put a lot of effort into his character design.
Very well.
Maybe he's
I
got a
must
secret
now...
picture or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast.
Of course, Your Excellency.
Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. I am.
Witness testimony. The witnessed scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
You were ordered in this disguise?
Yes.
That's what
They ordered me to
they-
wear this.
I was ordered. I had no choice. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me.
I ran into the beach hut at once when I found the pair in question.
Yes! That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly.
Well,
No, she was stabbed
she was stabbed once. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Well, no.
That's
what?
not true.
Didn't you submit this report? Have you not seen the autopsy report?
So they probably saw her, like, what, mopping up wine or something, I guess?
Doing something, yeah.
Because, like, if you dabbed that wine that had spilled on something,
Yeah.
that could look like stabbing if you're, like, an idiot.
Yeah,
Which,
you know.
Indeed, it does appear that this testimony has from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime.
what?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it?
Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What?
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more. A lot of footprints in here, too.
Goodness me!
Pen.
Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately here in her hand.
That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency.
The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Mamami. The initials of the defendant.
That happens to other people, too.
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence.
The fountain pen has been entered into the court record. So, have I omitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe to guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor Auchi of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense. You may begin your cross-examination now. Naruto-san!
Naruto? That means... Oh, yes, me! I'm Naruto.
Is there another Naruto in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruto in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright. I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do.
Cross-examination.
Well, we can start with the stabbings, because they're wildly
They're
off
just
about
wrong. The incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I'm curious enough about that to press you on
that.
it.
I'm curious. What on earth could they have been doing? In that jaunty disguise?
Correct. Wait, no. I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit for a dip in the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day.
And this tried and tested outfit was the answer.
Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job.
Then what were you doing?
I was
Wow.
I was about to say, was he fucking crocodiling in the water with a turtle
He
tied
must
to his
have
head?
been, yeah.
And then he
That's-
does this. Oh my god. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves the water.
So, is it a real turtle? I still don't know if it's a real turtle or not. But there was no need for you to blend into the background in this assignment, really. Was there?
If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Him.
Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment.
Hey, I got an
Prime Presser!
Got an
You got an
achievement.
achievement for a basic function of the game.
Woo! I just catch that crab.
Hold it!
What? Why were you chasing the crab?
Hold it. Ah, you're describing the victim's scream, presumably, Soseki-san. More linear in terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Kiana! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describing things so. Hard cut to Garth Marenghi saying, I know the authors that use subtext, and they're all cowards.
Ugh.
So Seki-san wasn't at all like this in England. Anyway, I spun around with the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze. Yes, the beach hut.
The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun.
Although the English woman commandeered the hut for herself, which meant that I was forced to change into my swimwear on the sand. Ah, I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you. Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. on more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hutwise.
Sure, man. Why not?
Listen, I would read more of an author if they were known to just fucking strike Ginyu force poses anytime they spoke.
That seems good enough. Yes, that young girl was
Yes,
astride
yes,
the English
yes.
from a dagger in hand as she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it? Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment. That was pretty good, actually. That was kind of bars.
That one was bars.
Hey, eek! Every sight and sound is still carved into my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Council, what on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
Fuck you! Oh, no! No! What are you insinuating? I am as manly a Japanese man as you.
I wonder if I might interject here, Soseki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression, were your words just now, I believe. What's going on with his fucking face?
What do you mean? He's just a normal man? He's having a normal day. Ah, so do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you've described? Bro, the answer ain't back there, man. No, I mean, yes. I mean, I know what I saw.
His animations are very good.
My ears don't deceive when I heard screams. It's my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial.
Okay. Go on. It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn. I think this is just a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become.
Oh dear. How awkward.
Blood on the blade, it proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. Now, this one, I think we can just present this.
Yeah.
Only a single wound
Just
was
say,
identified.
Objection!
One wound. Objection.
Hey, she's doing the point.
Boom.
She got the
Well,
point
of
right
course, you
away.
have to.
It wasn't a weak-ass objection like Naruto either.
With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruto-san have stood here at this bench, still like that she has a higher honorific for Kazuma.
It's very
than
funny.
fucking Ryunosuke.
It's very funny.
The stakes have been very, very high indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Council?
The fucking little JoJo things show up.
Menacing.
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Oh, what? Where? When? How? Not you, Soseki-san. The query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
Huh? At me?
Hosonaga. In your statement just now, you said the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right. As I said, when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon.
Bloody knife? What are you, British?
Got him.
And yet that cannot be.
What?
Get to the point, please, Council.
Ah, she's still got the little book.
In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. And Soseki-san. Me? You claim to have seen Membani-san in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, I did. Wildly. But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and?
It's quite simple. We know the metal weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. It's just math.
That's just how time works.
True.
He really looks like he's having a very, very stressful shit.
Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Wow, why is he being such a bitch today? What the hell?
Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san, in fact, saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the victim, in fact, withdrew the blade from the victim's body. Wait, the defendant withdrew that.
The victim did.
You got it.
Yeah, you know.
You know what I mean.
Bro is
One second.
vibrating.
Dude is wigging out.
Look at him go.
That can't be me when asked what my favorite insect is.
Excellent work, Susato. You exploded at them without objection and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically. Nope. Objection! Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted
And it was because
child.
Withheld information!
And I've done it again!
Dude, listen, I get it's part of the game, but I would, if I was in the game, I would, like, throw a chair at these people. Because, like, they're so smug, and then it's like, well, yeah, duh, you didn't say all of the words. I don't understand. What are you being smug about? You haven't explained everything yet.
A half-witted child with a half-baked
guys.
objection attempting to steal the show. You're right, there were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair. Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed!
Did you not see the Seed of Hope?
In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
Ooh, I've never used jot used that way. That's fun.
It's a fun
So his
word.
little dumb little thing of hair is gonna fall off by the end of this, right?
Oh, for sure. I hope all of it fall. I hope he loses all of his hair.
He becomes instantly bald. Eyebrows too.
It would be
What?
very funny.
Why not?
Engage your brain, young man.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah, hold on. I need to jot that down in my little notes section. My little notes app. Hold on. Don't move yet. That's a banger. I need that. I need that one. I need to start saying that. Engage your brain, young man. Fuck yeah. Okay.
When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Yeah, I mean, did you not think of that? All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ah! I don't know why I yelled.
Ah,
I'm in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was wielding the blade at all, there are sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
but if she was withdrawing the blade,
Then we are back where we started.
sorry,
Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she
engage your brain, young man?
then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim, and it with the demon's cold-blooded composure, too? The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good.
Maybe she was trying to dress the wound. She's a medical student,
That's a good point.
right? Like, you should leave knives stabbed into people unless you're a trained medical professional.
Yeah.
Then maybe you know when it's good to pull it up. That would be my guess. That would be.
That's a good guess. I hadn't thought of that.
Why did Ray pull out that knife?
Ah, yes, going for the jugular.
What did Father mean by that?
Unclear.
The court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. Why did I say
That's
that?
me.
God damn it.
I don't know. You've
I do
done
this
this
so
in, I think,
often.
every game. Like every one of the Ace Attorney games, at some point, you even do the same voice I'm going for.
I
You
know.
subsume it. It's wild. It's fascinating behavior. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely she could stab her again. No,
Save her life.
Save her life. Medical student.
Yeah.
She knows about medicine and such. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed, giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Mabami-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled out the blade in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life.
They don't seem convinced. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may.
Speak, witness.
I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean. Wow.
Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Are they gonna be like, you don't pull out knives? Because
Probably.
then they bleed out faster.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion.
Yes, sir, I will do so flawlessly.
Well, that
Witness testimony. Forensic medical. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendants would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. I didn't see any problems with that specifically.
Yeah. Is what you just said true, Inspector? despite thinking they're being very mansplaining right now. I know, right?
A little bit, yeah.
But they were like this to Ryunosuke too, so I think they're just dicks. I think they're just assholes. Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? It could.
Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the
stopper.
wound
It's
that
a
prevents excessive blood loss.
Do
Until
we
a
know what
doctor
the
is
knife
ready.
looks like?
No. I don't think
Yeah.
we've seen it yet. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, the stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see.
Ha! This is why Yolko should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it. What?
Wait,
What?
Run that by me again, sir? Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see. Or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... Could my friend actually have...
Susato!
Yes?
Pull yourself together! We mustn't lose sight of the way. Everybody in this courtroom just needs to calm down!
Not my tempo!
We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Ah,
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh,
oh,
that's not me.
yes, Your Excellency. Yes, Your Excellency. Also, I'm trying to figure out,
Oops.
does, like, the judge have a crazy scar across his nose, or is his face just sharp like that?
It's kind of hard to say.
It's kind of hard to say, right?
I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, and we're moving to my adjudication
Immediately afterwards. I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but... I had no idea it would be this hard.
I didn't see anything immediate. I guess we're just gonna have to press a bunch, probably. Swing a blade from a wound without thinking. Without thinking? Maybe she
What if
thought.
she did think?
What if she did?
That's the thing. Maybe she's smart enough to, like, begin bandaging the wound immediately. You say doing it without thinking could be a problem, but what about with thinking? Does that mean if you used due care and attention, it would be alright?
I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it, and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You can't just do it.
Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation. You didn't answer
You
the
see,
question we
Counsel,
asked, though.
when you ask without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Ugh.
Back to the witness testimony, please.
Base knowledge, any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know.
Hold it!
I guess.
In that case, there's an obvious explanation here.
Which is...
Ray's dumb as shit. Clearly, friend at Ray, Mambami-san, does not possess
What?
an ounce of sense.
What do you think about
Look
that,
at his little
Professor
face.
Deacatoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her a murderer.
I don't know young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Full counsel. Lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
Oh dear, that recoiled on me rather badly.
That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim.
Yeah, I think there's probably a good reason.
There must be one. I don't think there's anything in the court. I can only check the court record by putting %.
There's nothing in the court record, I don't think.
Like, I don't see...
The only thing could
There's
be
nothing
like,
obvious
well, what if
here.
maybe she needed to like, maybe she was gonna attempt to like get fluid out of the lungs or something?
Yeah, I
But
don't
like
know.
we don't know. That's all speculation. So we're just gonna have to press on this.
Yeah, because we don't have anything else.
But this is I think an open-ended. No. I don't think it's that.
No.
Not yet, anyways.
So I don't know what the pen would be. You can't examine the pen closer, so like it's just the pen exists.
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views.
This is wild. Oh dear, perhaps in my male persona take hold a little too much.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. Young student did have a motive for killing the victim.
Yeah, what about this?
Hold it!
Uh-huh.
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Bombani-san's nature to do something so awful.
But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against.
But you don't know the defendant.
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law! Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings. With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
So do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please.
Yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san. Nights ago, Dr. Wilson was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
What if she hated him?
What if she hated him?
Hold it!
Yeah, well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Mambani-san's talent and offered her the position of an assistant, despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him.
Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membani-san's abilities. Clearly the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. This feels like a forced fail until something is revealed.
Yeah.
If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Susato, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
Well, like 3, but... I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail.
We had to get
haven't
the
examined
ability
pen.
to examine it.
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly, but what should I do?
I know how this works.
Well, you said earlier you couldn't examine it yet.
Yeah,
so
now there's an option. There wasn't before.
Yeah, there wasn't one before. They just like wanted. We had to go through this to examine this. I bet we're gonna find blood or something if we take this cap off.
Yeah.
If we take off the pen's lid,
It's a pen.
it's a pen. Is it hollow? Nothing appears obviously out of the ordinary here, does it?
Yeah, I don't really... I wish you could just rotate
initials?
these in a...
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message, too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case.
There's something... Oh, what's the back end?
What's this thing?
That's a weird symbol. There's some sort of emblem here. Look. But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray. Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, I figured it
Can
was
we
something
find that
like that.
emblem somewhere?
Yeah, I was gonna say if we check the newspaper maybe, or the crime scene. Well,
Oh.
what's this?
Is this anything?
Ah,
We're unscrewing.
there's
the
more.
barrel now.
There's more pen.
There's no pen. It could also be a hidden message.
Yeah.
Like a rolled up little scrap of paper.
Yeah.
Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? There's more pen in this pen. There's no ink,
hollow.
that's for sure. Yeah. This. Well, yeah. All fountain pens are hollow. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
could-
You could put stuff in them.
This.
Ink,
This
presumably.
Like the way you said that. You put stuff in there, like pen ink.
Perhaps, if you're so inclined.
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose. That's probably everything, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick swing around, see if there's anything that's
Yeah,
not
swing
checked
around.
off on here.
Don't see anything.
Oh yeah, I think that's all the pen that's got for us.
Well, we should check that photograph and the,
This photograph.
like, what about her luggage? Anything in the luggage area? No.
Not what I'm seeing.
She owns so many masks.
It's crazy.
Wait, what about that newspaper then? It's the other one to consider.
Oh, we can actually examine the newspapers.
Oh!
So there might be something in here.
Neat. Raucous England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, Father? Looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
I do hope you weren't hurt.
Okay, what's on the back?
This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The deadly poison. From Yume's Medical Research... Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen?
The poison that we kept? The poison for Cusco?
Cusco's poison?
It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. So they smuggled the poison out in
the pen? Certainly
I mean,
seems that way.
that's a classic.
That's a classic.
Are you saying you didn't know about this?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned his information?
Come to think of it, there's no article mentioning the story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I'd put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray? She was managing it.
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully. The article about poison has been
now we
entered
can
in the
look
court
at
record. Now, let's take a peek. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Sosuke Natsumi on the 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities, even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade.
From a poison-laced blade.
Wink.
That's right, a poison-laced blade.
Would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting
the
with impaired
contraction of
breathing.
pupils.
ending with
Finally,
acute
that
contraction
came
of
up.
Pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military.
Okay, so she did stab her. It was to, maybe stabbed her. Because she may have been, it punctured the lung. She may have been trying to, like,
Do the
help her
the breathy
breathing.
thingy? Yeah.
The breathy thing?
Yeah, they put the pen tube. Well, it's
Because-
a fountain pen, though, not a tube. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we haven't put that piece together entirely, but we do know that she was definitely poisoned, because I was wondering when the pupil dilation was going to come up,
Yeah,
because
that-
the post-mortem...
The pupil dilation, I assumed meant poison.
Specifically, it was like, and also, her pupils were dilated.
Strange. All right.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruto-san are always turning evidence over and over in their hands.
They're just kind of flipping it around like,
Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with A.
I told you not to give me the tutorial. Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it straight away.
Pulling the blade from the...
Where do we put this here?
Yeah.
It's
Did it have a
is it the
motive?
It's got to be in the no good reason, right?
No good reason
Maybe
why
we can present. What would it want us to present, though?
Yeah.
The poison article?
Poison? It would be a good I mean, deadly and small... It would be a... Because she was in charge of the poison, but this isn't her pen. So she wouldn't have had the poison, but she might have known of the symptoms?
Yeah, we need something here to unlock a little more info.
I think this might be it. Because if,
I would guess
if she
the
knew
poison
symptoms-
article here, because the eyes were pinpricked.
Yeah.
No.
So she would have
There is
recognized the
one
symptoms since she
possibility.
was in charge of the project.
Right. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What? Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser.
And maybe she's gonna say if the blade was poisoned, you wouldn't want it to be in the wound for any longer than,
Yeah.
like, the longest amount of time possible.
Tell us
Or the
then,
shortest amount
what
of time?
possibility do you think you've identified?
Poison scale. It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at Imperial Yume Unit.
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance to this case.
Objection that! But
Prosecutor Auchi, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article? The court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those Reykjavik publications carry.
Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertions.
the
Your
eyes
Excellency!
dilate. The eyeballs!
Yep.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. Just cause 3. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says
I'm just gonna double check that.
it was the
third one, I
second
think.
one, right?
Current methods
Oh
can be
yeah, it was the
detected.
third one.
Why is the
Seven
poison
symptoms.
being developed?
Why is the poison? I didn't even notice there were headers, I'll be honest. I
Yeah.
just didn't read them at all. According to the article, the development of the poison was requested by the military.
Yes, a troubling revelation indeed.
Oh, it's very worrying.
And yet, even more worrying is how this yokel is trying to manipulate the court with nothing more than rumors. Oh, was that not it?
Ah! But I feel sure Ray had a good reason for her actions. I feel sure the explanation is somewhere in this newspaper article.
Try reading the article again. I apparently didn't read
Okay,
it very carefully.
That's apparently not what they wanted. I guess
Stolen poison
it's the
from a
second
poison-laced
one because
blade?
poison-laced blade
Yeah,
could
okay.
prove fatal in because they say in minutes.
Okay, so yep, that's the
So
one.
I guess it's the second one.
Yep. But we were going too fast.
Yes,
Which is why it didn't penalize
trying to
us,
jump
so
it.
that's nice.
deadly in tiny quantities. I mean, that's happened in every game we've played where we try to jump a step.
Yeah.
The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes.
Oh, are you suggesting...
If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Mabani-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body.
What? Wha-
Objection!
This is complete and utter nonsense.
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. And the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage.
Have
word
you not read
poison-
it, bitch?
The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's bullshit. That's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection!
Oh, please. This is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware.
Imagine all the time and effort you just saved and you just talked with Ray. Yeah, that's
asked.
attorney games.
We have no proof that the information is this wretched newspaper article is all reliable anyway. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense. Exactly! Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, yokel?
Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds.
What?
Me when I'm asking for coffee?
You can't possibly.
From your
expression, counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware.
She had special...
My brand! Dude, that my brand thing is so iconic. Hard to believe 1-800-CONTACTS exploded or whatever.
Yeah.
That words alone, empty or not, have no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, counsel, you'll present the proof to the court now.
Or, and hear me out,
Or we say.
we will present the evidence to the court a week from now.
Or we'll wait 7 days.
8/7/2021 was our last save. Oh no, sorry. It was 5/18/2022.
I was gonna say, it's only been 2 years. It hasn't been 3. Or 2.
Yeah, no, this is from I don't know why I made a separate save at this point. I don't remember why I would have
don't
done
either.
that. All right, but that'll have to do it for us tonight, folks, because I got to get ready for work. So thanks for watching. Have a good night. And we'll catch you tomorrow for whatever I wrote down. What's tomorrow, Wednesday? I think I'm playing Raincoat with Swissy. Oh, wait. I'm at a meeting tomorrow. I have to tell Swissy I can't do that. God damn it.
You
God...
can tune in to Swissy and me playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep. Bye, everybody.